The THQ 125 AMA Supercross season is split into two parts. James Bubba Stewart dominated the West Division with 5 wins in 6 races and will look to clinch his first title in Supercross as their last 2 races at Dallas and Salt Lake wrap up the series. Meanwhile, Branden Jesseman has been the most consistent during the Eastern leg, with wins in Minnesota, Indianapolis, and St. Louis. The final East Coast event takes place here in Michigan, and 3 riders have a shot at the title. Brock Sellards, with 2 event wins under his belt, is the long shot. Mike Brown won an event earlier this year and once again looks very fast, but both are fighting against the odds. Current points leader Branden Jesseman rides with incredible focus, little emotion, and a killer instinct. Stay with us as the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan lights up with the sounds of Supercross and a new champ will be crowned. This is the THQ 125 AMA Supercross East Series. Detroit, Michigan for the THQ 125 AMA Supercross Series. A chilly temperature outside, but inside it'll be warmed up by virtue of a title being awarded tonight. This is the 7th and final stop in the 125 East Series. And we welcome you inside. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey. Mother Nature bringing in a winter storm here. David's donning the cap to keep himself warm. But all the pressure tonight really is on Branden Jesseman.
Well, it's his title to lose, that's for sure. He's got a 17-point lead, and, you know, I've been in this position before, and it's great, but you can see how fast things can go wrong. If that happens here tonight to Branden, he could lose the title, but he's pretty focused, he's pretty smart. He won here last year, and it should be no problem for him.
The man who won last week in Houston, Brock Sellards, has been on a roll as of late. He is still a long shot to win the title, but with some help, he could pull it off.
Well, he had some help last week from his teammate Ivan Tedesco, and Sellards is so good at getting good starts and getting to the lead quick. That's what he has to do here. And hopefully his teammate will follow him, and he'll have the championship with a little luck.
Your thoughts on Mike Brown, who currently sits 2nd in the overall standings?
Well, he looks the most aggressive to me. He looked really fast in practice, everything. He looked loose, and he's just got to win the race and hope he's lucky enough with what happens behind him to have a title as well.
Take a look at the Suzuki 125 East Series standings. It's Jesseman, Brown, and Sellards, the 3 out in front. Now, a guy we haven't talked about, but Ivan Tedesco really could be a dark horse. The guy looks so fast, especially in practice today.
Well, you know, Ivan has definitely got the speed to win, Todd. There's no question about that, and he's disappointed with the way the series started. He'd like to end it with a win. However, he might be involved in some team tactics with Brock Sellards to try to get him up into 2nd or even the championship. So that might be just enough to ruin his chances to win here.
We are in the Silverdome, a very historic building indeed. For more on the history, let's check in with Professor Cameron Steele.
Well, guys, the Pontiac Silverdome is famous for all kinds of things. The Pope's been here, the King's been here, Elvis, that's right, Elvis rocked this house. But we have our own Kings of Supercross here tonight. Guys that won their first ever Supercross race are all vying for the points championship. Mike Brown won his first ever Supercross here, Brock Sellards, and Branden Jesseman last year. The points race is winding down. The guys are going out. It should be exciting. I mean, Pontiac's ready to rock and roll. I think, come on, you guys. There we go. We're ready to have a good time.
Thank you, Cameron. David, let's take a look at this Pontiac track. This is the THQ track map.
A little more than a 100-yard dash in the first corner. Going to be a big advantage for the guys in the 4-strokes. Make a left, you go over a little pyramid section, and a rhythm up on a plateau, back off before you hit the big air off the first triple. When you come out of that left, the whoop section has a double at the end, so if you don't get through those fast enough, no double. Make a right, do more triples and doubles as you make a left and go across the starting line. No bridge there tonight. They've made a change at the last minute to make the starting line longer. Another triple, more rhythms. You run the perimeter of the stadium through all sorts of different options of doubles and triples, but you got to make up all your time here as you head to the finish line, John.
This is 125, heat number 1 from Pontiac, Michigan. That is Mike Brown, currently sitting 2nd overall. And David, how important are these heat races for him? I mean, you expect him to go out there and get a whole shot, dominate the race, but positioning for that main event is going to be huge tonight.
Yeah, you're going to want to be a little bit more over to the inside, and that's where Mike Brown is lined up. And he's got, looks like Sellards and Tedesco to his left.
So Mike Brown, this is no cakewalk for him. It all comes down to this. Brownie's got to win this event tonight and hope that Branden Jesseman gets 9th or worse as we take a look at our Nissan starting grid. There's Brown, Sellards, Boniface, Vallejo, Michael Blows is there, Ivan Tedesco, Kevin Johnson, Tiger Lacey, Tyson Hadsell, who's been riding well, as has Jeff Gibson, and the rest of the crew. 6 laps is going to determine who goes to the main event. Everyone else, the LTQ, and they are cleared at the long front straightaway. Watch out for those 4-strokes. Mike Brown was on the outside, dove down in the inside, and it's Mike Brown with perfect positioning.
Now, Sellards looked like he had it, no problem, but he let off a little bit too early, and you just cannot give that to Mike Brown tonight. He's been so aggressive all afternoon. He just about ran over Sellards' foot, it looked like.
Hoffmaster is out in front right now. Mike Brown sits in second. Hoffmaster on the YZ 125 Shogun Factory Yamaha to Pearl City, Illinois. Out in front, rode quite well last week in Houston. As we take a look at what's coming on the back of Eric Vallejo, he's wearing the helmet cam.
You heard the term eyes in the back of your head. Well, that's how it would be. Watch this triple. Well, he didn't do it. You see the time that rider made up on us.
Meanwhile, back in front, Mike Brown with a perfect pass. Absolutely stuffs Hoffmaster in that corner. So watch Mike Brown. At this point, David, if you're coaching him, you're going to tell him to check out as fast as possible.
Yeah, there's no holding back tonight. I mean, second place in this championship versus third isn't really that big of a deal for a guy like Mike Brown, who won the 125 National Championship a couple of years ago. It's all or nothing. So if he crashes trying, you know, it's not going to be that much of a disaster. Here's the start again. Sellards gets the jump on him. And Sellards is clear, but he steps up a little too early to watch Brown on the inside of him. Just bam, pushes him. And surprised Sellards didn't go down. That's the way Brown's going to ride all night. So I think Sellards understands that now, and he won't make that mistake in the main.
Well, Hoffmaster looked good. I want to credit him with getting that whole shot. Meanwhile, Jeff Gibson currently runs in third, number 67, the Suzuki RM125 Team ECC Suzuki. But all eyes are on Mike Brown. And on the line, we'll recap one more time, folks. This is the 125 East Division. Mike Brown certainly is in position to win it, again, if he can win, and hope that Branden Jesseman finishes 9th or worse.
Sellards just making a move. Brown. Up in the third now, chasing Gibson. These guys are losing a lot of time to Brown. Brown looked great in practice.
Yeah.
I didn't look at their lap times, but just from the way he looked great. These guys are still losing a little bit of time to him. Now I expect Sellards in this loop section to try to make something happen.
Brock Sellards, number 18 on the blue Yamaha. To his left on the Suzuki, number 67, that's Jeff Gibson. As they come up to the rhythm buster, no problem there. They make the right-hand turn. And give Gibson some credit. He is holding off Brock Sellards.
Well, he got a little squirrely in that loop section, but he straightened it back out. I was surprised that Sellards wasn't able to take advantage of that. He's all over him. It's a matter of time, but to win this heat race, to put any kind of pressure and learn from Mike Brown, time is running out to do anything like that.
And there's a big difference on lane selection, too, finishing third or finishing second.
Well, you got to bring in the other heats and go back and forth, stagger as they line up for the main. Look at that. Triples his way right back into second. Tries to stop in his line.
And Gibson comes right back, so give Gibson some credit. The man on board the Suzuki riding quite well. This time Brock Sellards goes to the inside and shuts off Gibson's line. So Sellards now slides into second place. He will do some tracking down of Mike Brown, who's about 100 yards in front of him. Brock Sellards looked so very good last week in Houston, Texas at Reliance Stadium. We'll see how he handles this whoop section. Here comes Gibson making a run on him. He decides to tuck in behind him, and there is that rhythm buster.
Well, that double at the end, everyone starts thinking about that so much that I think that kind of creeps about halfway back into the whoop section and not even going through there as fast as they normally would be. There's Tedesco. He had problems in the early going and he's working his way back up. It looks like he might have to go to the LCQ if he doesn't pick up 4 or 5 positions.
Uncharacteristic to see Ivan Tedesco so far back. Meanwhile, Brock Sellards, who continues to hold down second place, number 18, the blue bike, the Yamaha, holding off Jeff Gibson, who was in second moments ago. Gibson on board the Suzuki as we slide up to our leader, number 3. This is Mike Brown. He picked up his first 125 Supercross win in Pontiac back in 1994 with 2 laps to go. So it looks like Mike Brown is going to pick up this Heat 1 victory.
Looks like he lost a little bit of time that lap to Sellards. Sellards just shaved off about, I don't know, 25 yards or so. You see a good look at the gap between the two. Brown, he knows. He's already looked at the track. He's got things pretty wired. He knows he's still got the heat race win in the bag. He doesn't have to ride hard all the way to the finish.
Well, what's great for Mike Brown now, winning this Heat 1, if he does hold on to do that, to go back to the trailer, watch some tape, relax, get some fluids in him, and he is pretty much set for the night until the main event, and that's when the real war starts, the battle for the 125 East Division crown on the line. He currently sits in second overall. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go for Mike Brown, our current leader in 125, Heat number 1.
One of his early laps was the quickest that we've had so far, 101.7. Sellards has turned to 101.8. That's how he was able to close the gap a little bit. You know, when I look at Brown, he's the kind of guy that it seems like he does better when his back is against the wall. You know, when it's all or nothing, that's where he seems to really shine. When it's early in the season, he seems to ride a little tight or cautious, or I'm not sure what, but man, tonight is the kind of night where he really shines. And if he was any closer to Jesseman, well, I think Jesseman will really be a lot more nervous than he is now.
Well, he's certainly a tenacious rider. We've seen the last few weeks, he will stick his front tire into places most people don't even think about it. The youngster from Johnson City, Tennessee, Mike Brown. 2 more turns, and the victory is his. This is Brown on the final lap, your leader in 125, Heat number 1 from Pontiac, Michigan. And the win goes to Mike Brown. So Brown picks up a well-deserved victory. Brock Sellards slides into second. Meanwhile, Ivan Tedesco is in 10th position, having all kinds of problems. David, once you get injured, it really throws off your rhythm. I mean, he's had injuries. One week he looks spectacular, the next week he looks like he really struggles, and we're only taking the first 9 to the main, so he'll have to go to LCQ.
That's too bad. You know, I mean, he's so much better than the results that we've seen from him this season, and I know it's got to be starting to wear on him. Hopefully it doesn't last too long, and he starts to get stuck there. But great ride for Brown. He's doing what he has to do here tonight so far.
When we return its results, we'll have an interview with our winner and our Thor rider profile right after this.
What's inside?
Welcome back inside the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. We just witnessed a great Heat number 1 in the 125 East Division. As we take a look at our Honda results, Michael Brown, your winner, followed by Brock Sellards and Jeff Gibson. Right now, let's send it down to Cameron Steele.
12 points separate this man from Branden Jesseman in the points. Mike Brown winning the first heat. Brownie, I got to ask you, is there a strategy you can go with to try to win the championship, or you just got to let the cards fall where they may?
Let them go where they want, you know. The only thing I can do is win and hope for the worst, you know, but you know, I just want to win. I don't care how I finish. You know, I like to win this series, but I just want to go out the series winning this race, and I'm going to do everything I can to win.
I know you guys are aware of what's going on out on the track. Did you know that you pushed Brock Sellards out in that first corner? He's 3rd in the points. I mean, are we rubbing elbows right here from the start tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's a start. Everybody's rubbing elbows. He got me once last week on the start in the main event, so, you know, it ain't payback, so it's just racing, you know. I don't do my best to get a good start.
We'll see how it works out in the main.
Thanks.
Well, guys, I'm hanging out with the rider that thinks the 5.6 is the most beautiful biking number on the planet, Kelly Smith. Been on fire as of late. Who are you?
Just a guy trying to make it out here in this world.
You're top 5 125 guy. You almost won a Supercross. Tell everybody at home what happened.
Led 14 and a half out of the 15 laps, and that last lap made her about halfway around, and Ernesto landed on me. This was a few years back, so I see nobody can drop it still.
Let's show him some tape. At St. Louis, you were running super well, and Mike Brown came in and gave you a little hello. What happened?
I don't know. I heard him coming. I knew he's an aggressive rider, so I started, you know, coming to the inside so he wouldn't even have the opportunity to come in and hit me, and he did anyway. I don't know. I think it was kind of a bonehead move, but whatever. We ended up both, you know, costing us a bunch of time, and wish I could have been up on that podium, but you know, that was my chance for another win. I think kind of taken away from me at St. Louis.
Well, folks, if you were to rewind that, you would have heard him call Mike Brown a bonehead. I just want to make sure Mike knows I didn't say that. He said it by himself. All right, let's talk about what's happening out east and what's happening out west. It seems tough all around. Obviously, James Stewart's been really tough on the west.
Yeah, I think James definitely is kind of taking 125 to a whole new level. He's done pretty amazing stuff. I got the chance to watch him a couple of times out west, and he's going to be really strong. I think the rest of the field is going to be, fair play for everyone to get together and have a really good race. I don't know. James still is young and still makes mistakes, so he's beatable. That's not a question. But if he's on his game, it's going to be really tough.
I like that. He says he's beatable. Anybody's beatable for Kelly Smith. The guy is fast. He's on fire. But right now, we need to look at some dirt bike racing.
125, heat number 2 is on the line from the legendary Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. There is the man, Branden Jesseman, Team Sobi Suzuki. One of the bright spots for Team Suzuki this year. And talk about having a target on your back. He's got to go through this heat race. Fortunately for him, or hopefully for him, he won't make it to an LCQ. But the target's on his back. As you mentioned at the top of the show, it's his title to lose. There's Metcalfe in the middle of your screen as well, a great starter.
And those are his toughest competitors right there. Metcalfe putting in 2 solid rides the past couple of rounds. Kelly Smith over there to the left, number 56. I'll just go ahead and throw, I don't know, $1 skillion at him for the whole shot in this heat race. His starts are perfect, and especially here.
As we take a look at the THQ starting grid, Jesseman, Metcalfe, Smith, Matthieu Lalloz is there, as is Ryan Mills. And I'll tell you what, folks, if David Bailey's throwing out $1 skillion, you better take him serious, because that is not something to kid around about. This is heat number 2 from the Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan. The 125 East title is on the line, and the 30 board is sideways. We'll see if that skillion's going to get paid and who gets the whole shot. Wow. Oh, Kelly.
Oh, I think I got beat. Jesseman, what an incredible start. That's a good sign. If he's able to beat Kelly Smith to the first corner, things are going great.
Jesseman and Smith go 1 and 2. Back in the pack is Brett Metcalfe.
Josh Summey running third right now.
Third, yeah.
Great ride for him. I noticed him in practice this afternoon, wearing silver and white, putting in some hard laps. He looked great. It's a good opportunity to check out the leaders and get into that flow and rhythm.
What are the chances that Mike Brown is somewhere in the stadium watching this?
He's watching everything. The stats now, it's like baseball. They've got all these printouts going right into the big rigs outside, so nothing gets by all these riders that aren't on the track. They have every lap time, every split, all the lines.
Kelly Smith currently sitting in second place. We talk about him being a whole shot specialist, and he is just that. So for Branden Jesseman to come out and get the whole shot, certainly sitting in Michigan, he has the talent to win this 125 East title. Folks, if he finishes in the main event 9th or better, it's his. Nothing else matters. If he finishes 10th and Mike Brown gets the victory, Mike Brown will take home the title. So there's a lot of scenarios that they all involve Branden Jesseman not doing well. And with so much pressure and the way he's been riding this year, we're really with the weight of the Suzuki team, David, on his shoulders, this should be nothing to him.
Yeah, he's up for it. He's up for the test. And, he's been getting better and better. And this is where he got his first win last year. He held off Chad Reed. It was Chad Reed's only loss in the 125 East last year. So I'm sure Branden feels good coming back to the stadium. Josh Summey getting some pressure now.
Yeah. Brett Metcalfe coming in 123 on the KTM. Summey makes a little bit of a mistake, and Brett Metcalfe capitalizes on board the KTM. Summey slides now into 4th place. Well, we got a tight track here. But, David, there's a lot of places here to make mistakes, but there's also a lot of places to make up on those mistakes.
Well, the first look I got at the track, it just seemed really technical to me. Yeah, it's easy, but that's if everything's going right. The leaders working their way over the triple, heading up to the whoop section. These guys working their way around to the triple. And believe me, that whoop section is already on your mind in the air off this triple. You're like, man, as I make this left, it gets tough. Now, Lalloz is catching up, putting some pressure on Summey. A little better rhythm through the whoop section, keeps it flatter.
Metcalfe picked up a 3rd in Houston. He was on the podium there, and that was a good sign for the folks at KTM, who, like Suzuki, have had problems keeping their riders healthy. You think about guys like Grant Langston, who they expect such big things from.
Yeah, it's been a tough season for everybody in terms of injuries. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it. Here comes Lalloz to the inside. That's really killing Summey right there. He looked great in practice, but he wasn't tripling into that corner, and that's the only flaw, really. He'll talk to his dad, Tony, if he's here and he goes back to the pits, and he'll be like, son, you got to jump that triple if you want to stay up front. That's the only place out there where he's really losing much time.
This is 125 heat number 2. Brett Metcalfe, there you see, currently sitting in 3rd place. As we go back to our leader right now, we started with 20 riders. They're going 6 laps. The top 9 automatically go to the main event. Mike Brown won heat number 1. Branden Jesseman, the overall leader in the 125 East. And there you see the size of lead he has right now. Kelly Smith sitting in 2nd. And there is the battle for 1st. Right now, Branden Jesseman looking very smooth.
Well, you know what I like about what Branden's doing, and not only was he just purely focused, got a great start, even beat Kelly Smith at the first corner. He's been flawless ever since, and with all the nerves and the title on the line and all that tonight, he's got a faster lap than Brown in the first heat. The best lap, both Sellards and Brown, a 101.7. He just turned a 101.6, and it's not over yet.
Well, the top of the show, we showed you some video about Branden Jesseman going down. That happened last week in Houston. And David, I think the situation there was he was riding too nice. He was letting people kind of have corners and that. He didn't want to push the issue. He goes down being too cautious. Any chance we're going to see that tonight in the main event?
Oh, he just as you said that, Jesseman
almost came up short.
Yeah, he didn't get a good run at the triple. He laid up and faced the 3rd one. That kid is so strong, he can pull that off. The crowd gasped right there. And, you know, to answer your question on being too cautious, you know, it just depends on the start he gets. You know, there's no, in car racing, you stay, you know, you're, okay, I'm on the inside of row 3. This is the strategy. You know, I'm on the front row outside. Here's our strategy. In Supercross, you don't know what's going to happen. You're lined up side by side. You might go down in the first turn. Both Brown and Sellards could go down in the first turn. That really changes the way he's going to need to race. So you just sort of wait and see what happens and deal with it.
Well, we got a battle shaping up right now for 9th. Remember, we're only taking the top 9 automatically. Hill and Martin doing it. No one wanting to go to that LCQ because that means preparation for another race that you don't need. You want to stay as fresh as possible, make it to the main event, but only 9 can advance out. Hill and Martin right now battling for that final transfer position. David Hill, number 357 of the Suzuki RM125 out of New Philadelphia, Ohio, looking to get into the main event, not wanting to go the LCQ route. And Jacob Martin is 139. He's on the Yamaha YZ125 Star Racing Bacon Boy Yamaha out of Moore, Oklahoma.
Barry Carson leading that pack. You gotta love Carson. That guy's been out here forever. He's ridden both classes before and still out there taking it to these young kids. Jesseman double-double through that section. That's the triple that Lalloz and Metcalfe used to get around Summy. Jesseman doesn't need to jump that this last lap. Couple of triples, a right-hander, and he gets the first heat win. He'll be the fastest.
Branden Jesseman, your winner, 125, heat number 2 from Pontiac, with riders going down in the final lap in a very precarious situation as that right turn. They come out of there so hot, and we'll see if we can take a look at it one more time. There's Ryan Abrigo.
Let's just
find out exactly what happened.
Yeah, just getting a little dicey back there in the pack, and he got clipped a little bit right there. He seems to be okay because he got up, took off. But for Jesseman, that's the kind of stuff you need to stay away from, and getting the whole shot is the best way.
We'll be back to Pontiac Silverdome after this short break. We'll talk with our winner, plus we'll have Suzuki's on track right after this.
Suzuki Fest.
Welcome back to the THQ 125 AMA Supercross Series from the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Here are our Suzuki Heat 2 official results. It's Jesseman getting the win, followed by Smith and Lalloz. Right now, let's send it down to Cameron.
Well, it's a 12-point lead. It's the final race. Pontiac Silverdome. He won his first Supercross here, Branden. Some people might have thought you were going to be conservative at this round. Not being conservative, are you?
Well, I'm just trying to go out and do what I've been doing. You know, I think that's the most conservative way to go, you know, and if there's anything less, make more mistakes, so just got to go out, get a great start, and hopefully come away with another win.
Well, it's going to be an exciting night no matter what happens.
Thanks a lot. Yep.
Let's now take a look at our Honda flashback. Last year in the 125 East Division, Chad Reed, number 103, had not lost a race all season until Pontiac. The horrible start put him way back in the pack, and a young Branden Jesseman took complete advantage, checking out on the first lap. French newcomer Eric Sorby would again move to a podium position, but Chad Reed was on the move and closing in on the lead. In the last set of whoops, Jesseman almost gave it away, but would hold on to take his very first Supercross win. Right now it's time for our Suzuki on track.
At every event this year, the Dirtworks crew has done an amazing job challenging the world's top Supercross riders. But this weekend here in Pontiac, they've added a new feature, a tricky double jump at the end of the whoop section. A lot of the riders are saying it's one of the keys to winning the race tonight.
I think that's one of the most important parts of the whole track, just because everything else is, it's not basic, but I mean everybody can do pretty much almost the same, and that, I mean, you either jump the double or you kind of just roll and then jump out, and the second part of double is pretty steep, so you're gonna lose some time there, so you gotta make sure you make it.
It's a little tricky. You have to have as much momentum as possible carrying you through the whoop so that you can get up and over it, but that's probably going to be one of the biggest passing, points on the track, and there's quite a few more, but I think that's going to be the biggest one.
It's going to be really hard because usually jumps like that, it's like a one-line thing, and somebody's going to be in your line, you're going to try to do it or something, and it's not going to be pretty.
Definitely, the track's getting tougher and tougher, and you need little things like that to separate everyone, and hopefully that's going to be tough, and hopefully I can get it down. You just want to come through and try to get your rhythm right at the end of the whoop section to get over it every lap, and if you do, you get more consistent, it'll pay off in the end of the race.
If you can, please join us in person for the THQ World Supercross GP and the AMA Supercross Series. Upcoming events include Salt Lake City, Utah, April 26th at Rice Eccles Stadium, and we wrap things up in Las Vegas, Nevada, May 3rd at Sam Boyd Stadium. For more information, log on to www.sxgp.com, and you can experience Supercross live by tuning in to www.sxgp.com, 7 p.m. local venue time every race weekend. We'll be back with the main event from Pontiac, Michigan right after this. Welcome back to Pontiac, Michigan in the THQ 125 AMA Supercross Series. Let's take a look at our Nissan qualifying highlights from the 125 LCQ. All eyes on that man, number 52, Ivan Tedesco.
Looked like he had a great start, but coming in from the outside, a couple of YZ250Fs. Tiger Lacey grabbing the whole shot as a few riders go down. That was the end of their night, but that was the pass for the lead. Ivan Tedesco, who actually crashed there in practice, muscles his way into the lead and got a little extra practice out on the track.
Ivan Tedesco picks up some valuable track time and a victory as he moves in to the main event. As we take a look at the 125 LCQ standings and the final results, it's Tedesco, Lacey, Metz, Harrison, and Brad Ripple. The top four advance to the main. Well, it all comes down to this, the 125 main event from Pontiac, Michigan. This is for the 125 East Division crown. Let's take a look at our Honda main event starting grid. It's Brown, Jesseman, Sellards. They are the top three. Then it's Kelly Smith, Gibson, Lalloz, Johnson, Metcalfe, Hoffmaster, Summey, and Eric Vallejo will be wearing the camera forward on his helmet. Then Carson Blows, Marsek, Hadsel, Martin, Boniface, Hill, Tedesco, Lacey, Metz, and Tommy Harrison. 22 riders. And right now, the tension is palpable. Branden Jesseman out of Fombelle, Pennsylvania, as the 30 board is up, is on the cusp of securing a 125 East title. Everyone in Michigan wants to see him do it, except Mike Brown. As the 30 board goes sideways, we are set to go racing. This is the 125 East main event.
And Jesseman got a bad start right off the bat. Both he and Brown are mid-pack.
A big pileup on the right-hand side. That slows down a lot of riders, but it's Brock Sellards who emerges first. Brock Sellards gets out in front for the SXGP.com.
And it's perfect because he's got his teammate Tedesco right behind him. And then the hardest guy to pass, Kelly Smith. Brock is very lucky right now to be sitting where he's sitting with Brown and Jesseman stuck way back.
Jesseman is so far in the back of the pack, he's in double digits, so we'll keep an eye on that. Remember, he's got to get the top 9. Mike Brown's certainly where he needs to be. Right now, Brownie sits in 6th position. position, not worried about Brock Sellards. And I think for Brock Sellards, David, he's going to go out and just ride the race of his life. He's got nothing to lose.
He's got to ride hard and get away from the pack, get away from Metcalfe, who's been strong lately. He's already worked his way into third ahead of Kelly Smith. That was fast. They got to get clear of Brown. This is perfect for Sellards. Well, Brown has made a beautiful move to the inside. Watch it, he comes into the picture right there on Kelly Smith. So Brown is riding aggressive.
So Brown's in fourth right now. For Brock Sellards to get the championship, he's got to get first. Jesseman's got to get 14th, and Brown's got to get third. And right now, Brown is in fourth, and Brock Sellards is in first, and Branden Jesseman, this is unbelievable, is in 14th. So if the race ended right now, your 125 East champion would be Brock Sellards.
Now, there's a long ways to go. If you're Jesseman right now, you got to be patient. You know, if he just tries to rush things too much and panics a little bit being so far back, he can take a chance on going down. It's a long way to go. Well, you just have to be smart. You
make a great point. 15 laps to go. We saw Brownie do it before we see Jesseman do it. Get impatient, force the issue, and then throw the race away. I think Branden Jesseman's a smart enough kid that's just going to take his time and work his way up to the pack. As you take a look at our leader, Brock Sellards.
Sellards looking good. He's still got Tedesco behind him. They still have their lead over Metcalfe and Brown. Everything's running smooth up front. The Yamaha Troy guys are very happy with what they're seeing so far, but still got a long ways to go.
Want to make a quick correction. The SXGP.com pole shot goes to 221 Tiger Lacey. He got just an extra knobby in front of Brock Sellards, so we'll give him credit. Here comes Ivan Tedesco coming up fast on Brock Sellards. Now, David, I got to ask you, is there any team orders here? Is Tedesco going to watch out for Brock's backside?
I would imagine. I mean, I can't imagine it with the way things are right now. Brown just picked up third. There he's at the top of the screen. I can't imagine Tedesco trying to race Sellards for the title on the line. Once they realize that now Jesseman's in good position and Brown's moved up, there's no way. Maybe Tedesco will take things into his own hands and decide, hey, I want to win this thing.
Well, if you're just joining us, Brock Sellards is your leader. He is in contention for the 125 East title. He's number 18 on board the Yamaha. He's got a teammate, number 52, Ivan Tedesco. Not in contention for a title, but certainly an advocate to have behind him. And then Mike Brown, the man who currently sits in second overall, number 3 on the green Suzuki, just coming into the picture at the top of your screen. He needs to stay in third, and Brock needs to stay out front. More importantly, Branden Jesseman, who is the overall points leader, needs to get in the top 9 position for him to take the title, number 26.
Well, he's sitting in 10th right now, and Brown isn't in the lead. So I think if it ended right now, Jesseman would be your champion. So he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's being patient, riding smart. And it was the worst it could possibly be unless he fell in the first turn. I mean, you got Sellards out front. You got Tedesco running block for him. You got Brown up into third. Terrible start for Jesseman, and he kept his cool. He's up in a position where now he can just pick riders off little by little. First two laps that are the scariest, where things happen, guys come in and block past you and take out your front wheel. Those laps are over. Jesseman just moved up 2 more spots. Brown continues to try to hunt down the team Yamaha Troy guys. There goes Jesseman by another rider, so I didn't see any panic in him. I thought I'd see some panic. So far, oh, he goes down.
Oh, Jesseman has gone down. Branden Jesseman has gone down, number 26. He's limping just a little bit, but he is not going to stop. Team Sobe Suzuki right now has got to be just panicking.
He lost a lot of position.
Well, I've got Jesseman all the way back to 15th position.
Yeah, I was counting his positions when I was looking at that replay. He just got a little off balance jumping that triple, rushed it. I just talked about he wasn't panicking, and panicked just a little bit there.
We'll be back to Pontiac, Michigan for more of the 125 main event right after this. Welcome back to the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. The 125 main is in progress with the East title on the line. There's Branden Jesseman, number 26. He's currently the overall points leader. If he gets into 8th position, it doesn't matter where everyone else finishes. He will be the 125 East title holder. For Mike Brown, it couldn't be any worse because Ivan Tedesco, one of the toughest guys to get around, the way he's been riding, for Mike Brown, that's got to be the absolute worst person to have in front of him.
Well, the tough part for Tedesco is that he might have a touch more speed than Sellards. And he's just trying to keep the pressure on him, going, go, buddy, go. Keep Brown off my tail. And he goes for the lead.
Wow, that is surprising.
I don't believe what I'm seeing here.
Well, the reason why, folks, is number 18, Brock Sellards, is in the hunt for the title. Ivan Tedesco is not, and their teammates.
Yeah, you just watch him. He positioned himself down at the inside, wheelies that little triple roller deal, and triples into the corner ahead of his teammate. Brock's got to be going, okay, why? What's going on?
Well, apparently team orders are not in order tonight because Ivan Tedesco, by making that move, is in effect taking Brock Sellards out of the title hunt.
Well, he can let him by at the end. Maybe what he's trying to do is go, hey, look,
maybe he's
let me get by you and show you a couple places where you can pick up the pace, and then if you need it for the championship, if I get a signal, I'll get completely out of your way at the end and let you have it. You know, just to keep Brown off their tail. So this could prove to be a pretty good strategy.
And for Brock Sellards, number 18, chasing 52, Ivan Tedesco may be the best thing. It's like a carrot out in front.
And it might all be a moot point because Jesseman looks like he might be in position.
Branden Jesseman has moved up to 8th position. We do have a rider down right now on the inside lane. That's going to slow traffic down just a little bit.
Yeah, Jesseman is, oh, what a, man. Yeah, I think what they're looking at now is that Jesseman has moved his way up into position to be the champion. He's got to be pretty nervous.
Well, the folks next to us in the Suzuki booth are feeling pretty confident. They don't look like they're panicking.
Yeah, now they realize that, okay, Jesseman's doing what he needs to do. It looks like the title will belong to him. All right, Ivan, if you want to win this thing, go for it.
And you know what?
Oh, and Sellards' bike just quit.
Sellards just plows into him. Sellards goes down. Mike Brown just plows into the side of him. Sellards' bike is just exuding smoke right now. Mike Brown is dead in the water.
I don't believe it.
Anything could happen.
Brown was totally committed, and Sellards, just the bike just stopped, the smoke, it just completely blew up, and he fell to his right in Brown's line. Unbelievable. Well, now Jesseman's coming by him right now. Look at this.
Branden Jesseman's got to be looking at him going, wait a second, weren't you leading a moment ago? Well, we said it, folks. Anything can happen as we look at this one more time.
Now watch number 18. Watch the smoke coming off his bike. About 2 more whoops. You'll see it just blow up. And he loses his balance, falls over. Here comes Brown.
Oh, he took it right in the back of the leg.
Yeah, Sellards, he walked over and sat down, and I don't think he's feeling very good right now. He got plowed.
We're going to step aside briefly, but when we come back, the conclusion of a very exciting 125 main event from Pontiac, Michigan. Don't go away. Welcome back to Pontiac, Michigan, as the 125 main event is winding down. Ivan Tedesco is your leader, and it doesn't get any better than this. Well, Mike Brown, number 3 right there, is in 4th position after that horrific accident where he ran into Brock Sellards. Sellards is off the track. His bike is done for the night. Meanwhile, the current overall points leader, Branden Jesseman, has moved into 7th position. So number 26 has really made everything moot with 5 laps to go. Your leader, number 52, Ivan Tedesco. All right, let's check in one more time with Cameron Steele. He's now caught up with Brock Sellards.
Well, guys, I'm in the pits with Brock Sellards. Brock, what happened out there? All I saw was a plume of smoke.
I really don't know. I started getting the whoops a lot better, and then, I don't know, popped into neutral and went poof.
Tough break, Brock. Sorry to see this happen to you.
Yeah, you know, hopefully Ivan wins it for the team, but, you know, I'd have loved to win this race.
Right on, Brock. There you go, guys. A little report from Brock Sellards, unfortunately sidelined.
All right, thank you very much, Cameron. I mean, Brock Sellards' bike blowing up. What are the chances of that happening?
Well, you know, it seems that's just Brock, you know. The kid is exciting, and he gives it all he's got, and he definitely gave it a little bit more than he had to give with the bike there blowing up like that. That's weird.
So right now, the way it stands here in this 125 East main event from Pontiac, Ivan Tedesco in 1st place, Brett Metcalfe on board the KTM in 2nd. Smith has now moved into 3rd. Mike Brown in 4th. Matthieu Lalloz in 5th. And there's Branden Jesseman just lurking in 7th. And you'd expect him to probably pick up at least 1 more position before the night's done. But he needed to finish in the top 9 and get the title with his 125 East.
And, you know, it's bittersweet night again for Yamaha Troy. You know, to have Ivan pick up his win and really be up there where he belongs. But to have the title slip away like that, it was a long shot, you know, but to have it be that close and slip away the way it did.
And Ivan Tedesco, I mean, this guy's put in a hero's charge tonight. He raced the qualifier, he had to race in the heat race, and then he had to race in the LCQ. So here he is in the main event, and it's all paid off. So all you riders out there in the LCQ, there's always hope.
Well, McGrath came from the LCQ here quite a few years back in the 250 class to win the main event. Damon Bradshaw did it a long time ago. It's possible.
Well, with just a couple laps to go, let's look ahead. I know at the start of the 125 East season, David, we said Bubba Stewart, Bubba Stewart, Bubba Stewart, and it doesn't matter who else they bring out there. The 125 West season, I mean. Now as we look at the 125 East, you've got Brown, you've got Jesseman, you've got Sellards, you've got Tedesco, and then you factor in Preston back into the West. I mean, you got 6 bona fide champions. You give the nod to Stewart, but that's going to be an interesting race when we get to the shootout.
Yeah, I can't wait, you know, because finally all the work, all the suffering and the frustration and disappointment, it's all worth it right now for Tedesco, man. You're going to see a big smile on Hot Sauce down there when he's on the podium. He's going to be so pumped. I'm pumped for him because I know he's put in the work and then some.
Well, it has not been a full season for Ivan Tedesco. He's battled some injuries. He just came on board, and then last week in Houston, he put on a great show. And we watched him in practice, and the guy looked extremely fast.
Well, it's great to see him get the payoff and to be able to take this confidence to Vegas. You know, I mean, if he hadn't got a win like this, I don't think he could be on the starting line of Vegas feeling like, hey, I got a shot. You know, now Metcalfe's bike is looking like it's let go right in front of the starting line. Man, what is going on here?
Brett Metcalfe on the backside, number 123. His bike is starting to smoke. And and he goes down right into the tough blocks.
He didn't realize his bike was letting go. And as a white flag flies for Tedesco, I don't believe I saw that.
Well, Ivan Tedesco continues to lead on the backside. We can tell you that Brett Metcalfe is in serious problems right now.
Well, the bike was smoking, and he went for the triple.
Nothing there.
And the bike ran weird when he went to do the next little timing section, and it got away from him, and he flew over the next little triple and landed sort of on the bike and flew off to the side. I hope he's okay.
Well, this is the final lap for Ivan Tedesco. Give him credit. He has stayed out of harm's way. His Yamaha has run perfectly. So as you pointed out, it's a bittersweet night for Team Yamaha. As Ivan Tedesco will take just a few more turns. He's coming up on where Metcalfe had his problems. He'll slow down just a little bit with the yellow flags out. But Tedesco, a first-time winner in Pontiac. Brown got his first win here. Jesseman got his first win here. Sellards got his first win, and now it's Tedesco. But the night really belongs to Branden Jesseman.
Here comes Ivan. His first win, a nice whip. Congratulations, Ivan, man, you earned it. Kelly Smith stayed up there and hangs on to second ahead of Brown. But this last lap must have seemed like an hour for Branden Jesseman.
Well, Ivan Tedesco's the happiest man right now as he's on the infield with all his team. Very happy indeed. They will win the battle, but the war belongs to number 26 from Farmville, Pennsylvania, Branden Jesseman, the winner of the 125 East Division. A job well done, David. He didn't panic. He went down twice. He dropped all the way back to 15th, and he just patiently worked his way up. Unfortunately,
I'm not even sure if he realizes he won the championship. He doesn't act like it. I mean, it's the weirdest feeling when it's that close. They're going, hey, you won.
I think it's bittersweet. I think he just wanted to win.
He's like, I did? Doesn't feel like it. There's a little smile in there.
We're going to step aside, but when we come back to Pontiac, we'll talk with our winner, have official results, and wrap things up. This is the 125 East AMA Supercross Series. Welcome back to Pontiac, Michigan for the THQ 125 AMA Supercross Series. And what a great conclusion to the 125 East as we take a look at the Suzuki Series standings. It's Tedesco picking up the victory, followed by Kelly Smith, Michael Brown, Matthieu Lalloz, and Steve Boniface. Right now, let's send it down to Cameron Steele.
Well, check it out, Hot Sauce. Ivan Tedesco winning the battle, his first ever Supercross win. What is going through your mind right now?
Man, you know, I've been waiting for this for like 3 years, you know, and I work hard, and I'm just glad to finally win one and you know, win one for Boost Mobile. And you know, I'd just like to thank the Lord Jesus Christ for keeping me safe out there, and you know, all my sponsors, Boost Mobile, Yamaha, Troy, Thor, Smith Goggles, Dunlop Tires, and you know, my mom and dad, my girlfriend, just everybody that has anything to do to get me where I'm at, you know.
Thank you, everybody. Basically, here's the question. Every Supercross we go to, you're one of the fastest guys, if not the fastest. You seem like you own Supercross. What's different tonight? Why the win tonight?
Well, you know, this night didn't start very good. I went to the last chance, started way on the outside, and somehow pulled a start out, and you know, I was in second place, and stayed behind Brock for a while, and then I was like, you know, I tired of following him and made a pass, and then, you know, went from there.
Right on. Congratulations, Ivan. It's got to feel good, your first ever win.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, Cameron. As we take a look at the Suzuki final Eastern Division results, your winner, Branden Jesseman, Mike Brown, Brock Sellards, Kelly Smith, and Brett Metcalfe. Let's send it down to Cameron Steele, who's with Branden Jesseman.
Well, he didn't win the battle tonight, but he won the war. Branden Jesseman, your 125 East Coast champion, Branden. It looks like the emotions have taken over.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been working really hard for this, and I just can't thank everyone enough. My mom, dad, Suzuki. I mean, my mechanic, James. Without them, I definitely wouldn't be able to do it.
We can tell the pressure's been on. You've been thinking about it. What about the race? I mean, all season long, you've had great races. Some of them just coming to you so easy. Was tonight the longest 15 laps of your life?
Oh, I mean, it was so long. I got a bad start, and you know, I made a lot of rookie mistakes, but at least I came away with the championship. It's gonna get better than that.
Well, for sure, this guy had me on pins and needles. Everybody at home probably bit their fingernails off, but check it out. The champ is here, Branden Jesseman, #1.
All right, thank you very much, Cameron. What a great 125 East Division, down to the wire. Well, next week, the 125 West resumes in Dallas, Texas, and then they have their final stop in Salt Lake City before we all meet up. And Chad Reed